You've had enough of it. Absolutely had enough of it. You can't take anymore. You've tried every angle of resolve. Person's not going to change. They've got no intention to change, or they don't know how to. Probably a combination of both. And you realize that you have created a situation for yourself that has worked against you. Your love, your devotion, your faithfulness, your loyalty has not been able to create a functioning, happy, healthy relationship with the circumstances this union and the fruit of it was able to produce. See, and I talk about this a lot, and you'll hear the beautiful birds in the background. When we fuse with somebody else, when we unite with somebody else, there's a bunch of ingredients going into a recipe to produce a happy, healthy relationship. And if those ingredients, once they're mixed together, don't mix right, don't fuse right, then you end up with a Frankensteinian type relationship, type of situation where it just hasn't gelled right. And so now you're trying to navigate. It's like trying to take a cake out of a pan that's stuck to the bottom. You're trying to get the cake out of the pan, but it's falling to bits. That's what a relationship's like. That's really not supposed to be. It's just, people might have a underlying sense of feeling good together, but the actual reality of the fact is they're not meant to be together in a lot of cases. And to try and sustain something that's not meant to be is where the trauma starts, because we start to force strategies and we start to ignore the problems and things like this, where we just get deeper and deeper, and by the time we finish, the cake's completely fallen apart. You have to throw the pan away because it can't get the cake off the bottom of it. All the enamel gets scratched off the bottom. We end up with this horrible mess and trauma, a breakup. But what the problem is, we're not conditioned to understand that things might not work out. And so when they don't, when things start to deteriorate, we start to take it personally. We don't evaluate things for what they really are. In my last relationship, the one before this one, the woman had to separate herself and myself from her son, because the son, in his 20s, mid-20s, was too attached to his mother, and he had a series of breakdowns, which are attempts to cause a breakup, and they'll vandalize and criminalize and demonize you, Many of you have been through this, one way or another. And I was onto it, so I went along with it for a while, but she was unable to bring resolve. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of all this horrible chaos, I stayed away from it. We were all apparently going to go to a family function on her side, and I said, no, we won't be. And that's the end of the relationship. And she was probably glad about that. But that's what unresolved does. One way or another, unresolved is either going to lead to extensive, diverse forms of trauma and all the physical and mental ailments that are associated with that, or a breakup and all the physical and mental ailments associated with that. So there's people that we like and that we want to be with, but the mixture, and I've seen this where women have got with men that are addicts and they've jumped on board and become addicts themselves, and only to end up old, haggard, worn out replicas of what they used to be, the beauty they used to have. They're just replicas. They patch themselves up and they doll themselves up, but they're just mutton done up as lamb. They're worn out. They made the wrong choices, and now they live with the consequences of that. And in some ways they get away with it, and in other ways they don't. Depends on how smart the people are that are around them and what they're willing to let them get away with and put up with. So relationships are complex. They have positive and negative outcomes and traumatic outcomes as well. Some other relationships are able to empower and produce fantastic results. Others just don't. And if you're in a toxic relationship, because remember, some people love toxicity, they just love it. They get bored without it. And if there's no toxicity going on between people, they'll toxicify themselves with drugs, alcohol, nicotine and other things. They just love the toxicity. I advise that you get away from that environment, get out in the sunlight, get some fresh air in your lungs, enjoy yourself. Get plenty of rest, fix your diet, don't forget your exercise, and get away from the toxicity and begin to enjoy your life again. It's going to take effort, it's going to take determination, it's going to take experiencing the loss. But bit by bit, day by day, you can bring your peace back to yourself. And for them, the peace will be finding another toxic situation. And you won't be able to understand that. You'll think, why? How? That's not your problem. Your job is to get yourself back into a place of peace and health and self-welfare. The ingredients wasn't right. The relationship didn't work. It was never going to work. You've made the right choice, and if you're on the end of being left behind, they've done you a favour. Slam the door behind them, kick the cat, knock over the chair, bang your fist on the desk and say, I've had it And I'll never, ever, 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 ever go through that again.